Welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the betting show that makes the squares sharper and the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I'm joined by my co-host, my BFF, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing?
Dude, I'll tell you how we're doing. I think we are pretty overwhelmed by our launch with the volume. The team here on the audio and YouTube side did amazing work. People don't understand, and they shouldn't care at all. But taking this from a conversation to an actual show that is launched in the span of a few working days, including a holiday weekend, is Herculean, and they should be commended. It's a truly professional job by the Volume team. And by the way, we are so grateful to the folks who came along with us for the ride, because with very little promo or warning, our audience turned out. So we have a ton of gratitude. Even Simon, in his cold, calculating heart, has a ton of gratitude. We're truly appreciate it. A couple minor housekeeping things. I've gotten a lot of questions about audio feeds. The Sharp or Square feed should be showing up in Apple and Spotify. You may have to scroll for a sec to see it. The sooner you start rating and reviewing, the sooner it flies up in the search rankings. We did this for the old show, so we're going to bring it back. We will read some of the best 5-star rated comments on the show, and we're going to give away some swag. So give us some feedback, make it easier to find for everyone. Rate, review, subscribe in the app, in the podcast app for Apple. That means hit the follow button. I've also gotten a lot of questions about a contest. Because this show came together so quickly, we cannot organize a contest for this season. Doesn't matter. Simon and I have always built this show around landing on 5 picks that we will put into contests that we play. Simon likes to call them, all cash contests. I know a lot of you play pick'em contests, so we will still be finalizing 5 best bets each week. We will report our record every Sunday night and update it on Tuesday. And that is also the point of the Sunday show in the mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, where Simon and I, you will be in on the conversation when Simon and I are debating those final 5 and locking them in after the latest line moves, injury updates, etc. Quick reminder, Tuesday and Thursday shows at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, and they'll get loaded into the audio feeds at the same time. We will do a short show on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. I just discussed it. And then we'll still do the wrap-up show, the look-ahead show on Sunday nights as soon as the late afternoon game ends around 7:30. Again, all of these, Sharp or Square YouTube channel, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Go subscribe, rate, review, etc., etc. Also, last thing, and then we're getting to it. I was so excited, Simon, for my Chad Loves Love bet on the Lions. I skipped right over the Niners-Seahawks. First show jitters. My bad. Luckily, it's a really important game for one of our categorized picks, so we will get to it today. I apologize. But first, Simon, we need to check in with something brand new. It's the Wiseguy Hotline.
Wiseguy Hotline.
Yeah, Chad, a lot of phone calls, obviously. People excited for the first week of the season and, running around all these sports books, talking to all these guys, especially the last 24 hours. Just so many opinions on our picks and where we're at and what we like and we don't like. Let's start with what they hate, right? Let's just get the bad out of the way first. But I kind of knew this first one was coming. We were on the Commanders. I know a ton of pros who are the ones betting this Giants number down. They like this matchup for the Giants. I know all the stuff about Dan Quinn week 1. I believe he's 1-4 against the spread as a head coach. Okay, I get it, right? Maybe it is a Dan Quinn thing. He underprepares his team. They struggle in week 1. The Giants, though, to me, too much is being made of the Russell Wilson being their quarterback as if he's going to fix that team, where I feel like when you've dived into it, that offensive line with the injuries and the bad drafts and everything like that over the years, it's caught up to them. They just don't have the offensive line to protect quarterbacks and have an effective offense. And, Neighbors, he's been banged up coming to this matchup as well. So, yeah, that's a game we'll dive into more, I'm sure. But that one jumped out right away. The big one I was really surprised about, but, makes sense, I guess, when you really dive into it, is that Green Bay-Detroit game, right?
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
I know. And I knew when you were doing it, I was like, this is the most public dog
Look,
of the
you
week.
were hesitant, and we're going to dive deeper into it. You were
But
hesitant.
I don't care. I told them I don't care. Like, I get where they're coming from, and in certain circumstances, I agree with them. But I think we're both on the same page. This Green Bay team is overrated right now. Too much smoke's being pumped up their asses. And on the flip side, too much hate is being thrown at this Lions team and disrespect about the loss of the coordinators, which we agreed with. We do think they'll be taking a step back because of the coordinator losses, but the talent is so unbelievable. It's but these are wide receivers. The Detroit guys are established, unlike the Green Bay guys. So, again, I'm looking forward to us diving into that one more because that was, again, not just one or two phone calls, a lot of guys being like, don't let Chad take you down this dark path. I said, I'm going with him. I want it. So, yeah, I can't wait to break down that one. For the loves, love the Ravens. The guys love the Ravens, and we've seen that reflected.
Yeah.
This number is flipped at most books. So, I still like it. I'm sure you still like it. I still think it's a good number, but obviously plus 1.5, if you can still get that contest wise, how do you not autoplay that number? We'll dive into the Ravens more, but that one did not shock me. The pros love that. The Browns, another one we'll talk about more. It's the same thing we're viewing at. It's just an overinflated line. They're the same thing as us. I feel like we all feel the same as we could get a bad Joe Flacco. That is our fear probably with that Browns number. I think most pros I've talked to, that's the only thing we're hesitant about. But I was shocked, the overwhelming support about our Browns pick, just because I thought it was going to be, again, it's a big board. I thought people would avoid this one, but people tend to really love that Browns pick. And the last one, the New York Jets, the love of the Jets. It's real. I know you're a little hesitant on it on Tuesday. We'll talk more about it, maybe come around on it, but the boys love it. Like, again, I was hoping I didn't want to act too excited about it because I was hoping we would get a 3.5. It's gone the other way. The 3 is gone. So that was a game that I loved. I was trying to play it cool. I think people could read through it and could see that that's just a nice number and a nice spot for a team that's going to be really gritty. And we talked about it, right? It's Pittsburgh on the road as favorite. So that's a game I'm sure we're going to break down more. But again, I forgot to mention this one. The only other game I really got heat from was that Falcons-Bucks game. So we can talk about that one as well. But I knew that was chalk coming in. Like, that's a public play for sure. The number has now come down, I believe, to 1.5 on most books. So, yeah, money's coming on to the Atlanta team. But I'm excited to see where you stand still on this Thursday show with that game.
Yeah, I haven't chased it yet, but I do want to dig into it. And I'm surprised. Let's get into all the games that we were sort of trying to narrow down to and do a little bit more research on. I'm surprised no one mentioned the Raiders and the Patriots. And to me, I said it on Tuesday, discipline is the name of the game here, Simon. If we are doing our Sunday morning show and we are talking ourselves into betting the Raiders at plus 2.5, shame on us. Now, between the time we did our show on Tuesday and today, the line did move up to 3 for a hot second. I grabbed it at plus 3. The only two bets I've really made so far, Browns and Raiders. And because I'm still nervous about the rest of them.
Oh, man.
I know. But look, the Patriots are getting so much hype right now. I'm getting alerts from ESPN, NFL insiders talking about the Patriots as a playoff team. Are you guys kidding me? Like, if this gets to 3, it's a no-brainer. Zero concerns.
I'm with you. I like the number. I told you, I'm not trying to get too attached to it. Like, I have my mentality of I'm going to have times where I'm going to be able to ride with this Raiders team in better spots. And the flip side, the Patriots, I hope, honestly, that they win this game. Even though I am on the Raiders plus 3, because our week 2 line, that's going to get, like you just said, the media hype.
Yeah.
We're going to get a 2 or 3 free point bump, which, again, we're both, I feel like, in lockstep here of this Patriots team that I think they'll be better. But I think it is overinflated, the hype, and it's gotten too far this other way. And big thing people aren't talking about is Christian Gonzalez. Their number 1 shutdown corner, little banged up. That's huge in this matchup. Let's face it, the Raiders, they're not beating people with defense this year. They're beating people because they're going to have a high-powered offense. That's the hope with Geno here. So, yeah, I told you, I'm trying to get sucked too much into this game because I am so high on this Raiders team. And like you said, the +3, we got to take it. So I don't know if we'll take a contest because I believe it will be 2.5 almost at all contest lines. But, we could get lucky, right? If Gonzalez gets cleared, late line movement, this could get to 3.5. So we'll see. Because I do think he is worth half a point to this Patriots number. Like, that's how important he is as a lockdown corner. He takes away half the field. So, to me, that's a big thing if you're waiting on. If you're like Chad here and you already got the 3, you can just be patient now and wait on it. You got the best number. If you're out there and you're still stuck at 2.5 of your main book and you can't shop around, your state doesn't work that way, that's the only book you can really use. Just wait. Be patient. If Gonzalez gets cleared, I guarantee you this will get back to 3.
We need a late run. We need a late run from the market on the Patriots. All right. Cincinnati at Cleveland. This number at the Hard Rock is 5, and it's been moving in that direction pretty much all week. And this was your Simon Says. I love it too. I think it's going to make our contest play likely at 5.5 or 5, no matter what the contest line is. I asked you the other day, what do we have to do? And this is before I knew it was going to be your Simon Says. I just knew that I was targeting this game as a Chad loves love before you stole my heart. What do we have to believe to bet the Browns? Which is essentially asking, what do we think the narrative for this game is going to be? And we know what Kevin Stefanski wants the narrative for this game to be. We know he wants his pass rush to dominate against a terrible offensive line. We know he wants his veteran quarterback to play within the system, which when he has quarterbacks who can play within his system, Kevin Stefanski has proven to be very successful. And we know he's going to run the ball. And Jerome Ford is a running back who's going to get most of the carries. He was one of the most explosive backs in the NFL last year. So while he's not a household name, there is quality in the backfield. I can't find a reason not to like the Browns. I just feel like I like them more and more, actually.
Yeah, I'll just start it right from the top. If people don't remember, I'm going to beat you to death of this trend. 24/7 against the spread, 77% since 2009 home divisional dogs. So it's the historical data backs it up, but we're also talking about how we like this matchup. That's what people are not, or I think are overlooking here. What Chad just nailed is it's a huge discrepancy between the D line and the O line of this Cleveland Browns defense compared to this Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. And I agree, there's ways they can counter, right? They can start running quick passes, screens, and other things like that. But when I turn it the other way, like Chad just talked about with Flacco and the Stefanski offense, we saw them be successful. They made it to the playoffs together. And when you look at it, it's an offense that when it's balanced, it's at its best, right? They want to be a team that can run the ball. And do I know Ford's the answer? I don't. But they also have, they have 2 different rookies they drafted. We don't know who's going to be the guy there, but I think there's going to be a semblance of a run game there where they really didn't have that last year. They had no run game because they really did not have a pass game to push the ball downfield. They do that. They have that now with Flacco. And the fact that Jerry Jeudy and Tillman are 2 guys on the outside, I think are really talented, and they have a good tight end. It all works for me with this Cleveland team. That's why, again, I like their over 4.5 win total. It's like they're not as bad as people perceive, especially when you have a veteran in there like Flacco, where me and Chad are going to be sweating, right? When he throws that first pick in the first quarter, it's going to be brutal. But unlike a rookie who just craters in on themselves, Flacco doesn't care. It's just another day at the office for Joe Flacco. He does not care. So to me, that's another thing I like about it, where it's like he can roll with the punches. He's the type of guy who's been here before, and he won't get flustered by the Bengals in this moment. So yeah, home dog in this spot. It was 6. Shout out to the fans who listen to the show and were able to get the 6. Went to 5.5. Now here we are 40 hours later, and now it's down to 5 at most books. So people can tell what the professionals like. And yeah, the public, again, talking to bookmakers, this is another Moneyline teaser, heavily bet team in the Bengals that, people just think it's a guaranteed win. And we know the deal. Joe Burrow, I believe he's 1-4 straight up in week 1 game. So it's just something he struggled with, and they're trying to combat it, having him play in the preseason. But I think the number's still too overinflated. He might win this game, but I think it'll be by, less than 3.
Good old battered Flacco. He's so old now, he actually is battered Flacco. Shout out Scooch and all the old heads who have been listening to the show since the ESPN days. New York Giants at Washington. You mentioned this is a game that on the Wiseguy Hotline, they were not fans of our conversation about this game in which we liked Washington at the time. Washington was 6. The line's moving the other direction. Simon, you can check in your app. Hard Rock, I think, is now down to 5 in this game. Like, we know every year we want to be thoughtful about not indexing on the dogs. And the Commanders were trending to be one of the teams that, come Sunday, like if circumstances played out, we needed another game, they might be a favorite that we like. Um, I I get what the wise guys are saying, but I look at this Giants team, and you said something really important the other day. As good as their defensive line is, Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence and
Abdul
Abdul
Carter.
Carter, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. But Jaden Daniels isn't the kind of quarterback who gets flustered in the pocket. He's normally the kind of quarterback who finds a way to escape via a lane on an over-aggressive pass rush, which I think kind of plays into the strengths. Either these guys are going to have to be really disciplined, or if they aren't, he's going to take advantage of that. So I like that, as you said the other day. But also, Andrew Thomas is still not fully back from his Liz Frank injury. He was limited in practice on Wednesday. There has not been confirmation of what his status is going to be for the game. He might play, but he might not be full strength. This team cratered without Andrew Thomas last year. So I get what the wise guys are thinking. It's a big number for a division dog, but this team is on the road, and sometimes you got to bet the talent and the scheme a little bit. So I'm not hating this game as the number gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I think it's just a classic case of the numbers move too much for me, where I agreed with them. If this was 6.5, 6, I could be talked into the Giants at that number. But like you said, now it's down to 5. We're getting close to 4.5 territory. That's where the value is going to be. So to me, I had this game at 6.5. I talked to pros who have this at 4.5. So 2-point difference is a big deal when you're booking these games. So I get where they're coming from in these spots, but I view it as this Commanders team, they are going to struggle this season, in my opinion, against really good and well-talented teams. This is not it. This is not the type of game they struggle where, yeah, Chad, we might have a couple 4th down stinkers that we talked about coming with this Washington team, and the regression is going to come. So sure, they could go for it on their own 40 on their first opening drive, and it goes the other way. But it's something where I like betting Daniels, like we did last year.
Yeah.
Is that they won't change who they are. They're going to keep doing what they do. So it's like, okay, they didn't work that one time. If they can go, which they were doing last year, 3 for 4 on 4th downs, they're going to win the games. And usually that's what happens, especially last season. So what we're looking at this year is just, I told you my pause on this is that whole Dan Quinn thing that he does. His teams historically have struggled in the past in his week 1. I went back, watched, a really condensed version of that Jane Daniels Bucks game last year just to see what the deal was. And to me, it was just a guy's first start on the road in week 1 as a rookie quarterback. And it's like, I don't know how much I could take away from this and blame Dan Quinn for this being not having his team prepared in this exact match. Even though defense did struggle, we learned later on that Bucks offense was really high powered. So, I'm not trying to take too much away from it. I'm trying to steadfast with Chad here on this Commanders team, but people can see I'm wavering a little bit. There's other favorites I do like, but then this number keeps moving. My confidence keeps growing where it's like, okay, if you give me 4.5 on the Commanders here, I'm gonna hit it pretty heavy. So it is a tough spot.
Simon, come Sunday, I just wrote this down. I don't know how we're not going to have a conversation about the Commanders, because this number is trending in a direction where it's going to be pretty hard to ignore playing the 4.5-point favorite on a number that has moved a full 2 points for what is just a much better team. All right. Carolina, Jacksonville. I was kind of glad that the wise guys didn't mention Carolina, Jacksonville in sort of the hotline. This game was at 3.5. I I left this game in. I don't think we're gonna bet it. Like we owe it to people to close out the Panthers conversation. Tell people that we are not putting in the contest. We may not even bet them. I think they've got huge issues with wide receiver depth and health and experience and targets that can make Bryce Young comfortable. I think they've got issues with the defense. Derek Brown is back. He missed all of last season. He can be a game changer in the run game, but we have no idea if he's going to be healthy. He missed the entire season, with an injured knee. So that hook is just, it's like, when you're watching vaudeville and they got that big wooden stick with the hook at the end and they grab the performer by the neck and pull him back to the stage. That hook is like grabbing me and trying to get me back. And I just want someone to talk me out of it. I want you to talk me out of this.
Yeah, I would say it's actually with shock you, Chad. There has been convo about this game. I would say a lot of the pros I've talked to, they like Jacksonville. I think they like them because of what they believe they're going to be. Like, this season, all of them, I think, are in the same boat as you, right? I think in the preseason, you talked about how you like them to win this division. AFC South, they're a sleeper team that a lot of pros like because they believe you're bringing an offensive genius with all the weapons. Should take Trevor Lawrence, a guy we both respected coming out of college and just has not lived up to that hype. This could all be it, right? It's all lined up for them. So you already talked about there's areas of talent discrepancy here. Like Jacksonville is a better team overall. They're better defensively at certain positions. Offensively, they're a more complete team. Better weapons. So I agree with you. Like I'm happy that we can actually stay away from this one because I'm like you. It's like I really want to take the 3.5 because it's still Jacksonville. At the end of the day, it is the Jaguars, and they could easily just melt under this new offensive system and have total dysfunction where this is year 2 for Bryce Young in this offense. He should be way more comfortable and prepared in this exact spot. So to me, all the factors of it, it's like I'm happy we're not forcing this one in because again, there's other games. It's my first Sunday of the year. I want to be watching other games than Panthers, Jaguars. So I'm happy we can skip this one so I can enjoy my Browns and Bengals.
I don't know. Like, I know you said you've got thousands and thousands of bets already. I feel like I want to go a little bit lighter in week 1. Like, it's so unknown. I've got a lot of opinions, but nothing is backed up by real data and what my eyes have seen yet. So I feel like even though I've got games I love, I'm playing a little bit more conservative. By the way, Travis Hunter will be starting a wide receiver. His current totals are 4.5 receptions, 47.5 receiving yards. You are a sneaky good player prop bettor. We don't talk about it a ton just because we focus so much on sides. Do you have any opinions on Travis Hunter and his receiving total and his reception total and his receiving yard total?
I don't know what to say, Chad. I feel like I'm just such a hater of him, and I hate that I'm a hater because I want it to work out, but no, you can't. I would not be betting any over of his props, any of that stuff. I still think I don't even know if they totally know what they're doing with him yet. Where they're like, we got this insane weapon, but we don't know how to use it because it's never been done before. And again, my opinion's been shared. I just don't think it works. There's no way it works. He doesn't have the body frame for it. I can't see it working, him laying hits and taking hits for a full season the way his body is built currently. Just it doesn't make sense. That's why all these people are comparing him to Ohtani. Have you guys ever seen Ohtani? This dude is 6'6", it looks like, and just 300 pounds of muscle. Like, it's just a different world. So I'm excited for him. But yeah, for me, being the guy I am, I'll take his under prop, but I will bet his touchdown prop because certain books, you can finagle it. Some books do have fine writing. If he gets a pick 6, it counts towards the defense. Some books don't, though. Some books will count a pick 6 as a touchdown. So it's just an extra edge to play. If he is going to play a couple of reps at cornerback, I'll take that upside for week 1. It's just a fun bet to make. But yes, the hater in me, yes, under 4.5. I just do not think he'll be the number one focal point of this offense. I still think it's Brian Thompson Jr.
Brian Thomas, good lesson. Study the house rules. I'm putting Miami and Indy in there right now. It's at -1 at Indy -1 at Hard Rock Bet. I know we aren't doing it. I just want to know if I could tempt you. Like the line is moving. Remember, it was at 1.5. There's some places where it's at a half right now. It's moving in the Dolphins' direction. Anything about this in which I could tempt you? Do you think everything is just, this is so public, it's so sad that I'm even bringing it up?
Yeah, and shockingly though, no pros I know really are pounding the table for Daniel Jones or this Colts team. I know a couple guys that like them, like me, season long. Like we talked about how I thought, if they take Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson just for this season, yeah, I think that's better as a bettor. I don't think it's long-term better for your franchise, but yeah, for me looking at this line, it's a classic case of, I'm with you, Chad, that it's Miami indoors facing a team that I don't know if they can expose their weakness. Miami's biggest weakness is the offensive line, could be an absolute train wreck, and their secondary. Like just two things that are, I mean, everyone's model is different. My model has them both as bottom 30. So like 31, 32, that's what I'm graded. Their offensive line, their defensive backs. Could that change, obviously, after week 1, right? If this new offensive line puts it together and they actually work well together, that does happen. D-backs, not so much. Usually these guys are what they are, right? Especially a team like them who they're on the market shopping defensive backs. But again, we're talking about, can the Colts expose that? I don't think so. So I'm getting there with you, Chad. It's like, this is the type of matchup Tua indoors in a controlled environment against a defense that can be passed on. Everyone's healthy. He's healthy. You can get me there if you want to make it one of your picks, but it would not be one of mine. So that's where we'll differ. But yeah, I got no money invested in this game yet. I'm undecided, but I'm leaning way more towards Miami's side than I was Colts a couple weeks ago.
All right. Well, guess what? Miami is going on the list to talk about on Sunday morning, baby. We're doing it. Could be in there. Simon, we are crazy excited to announce our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. I don't know if you know this. I've got a very long history of staying at Hard Rock hotels and casinos, including one football season, practically living there, literally. They've always been, to me, the best combination of vibe and fun. Now you can use the top-rated Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook to place your bets all NFL season and beyond. Hard Rock Bet is the only legal sportsbook in the state of Florida and is also available in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, with more states launching all the time. You can also play on Hard Rock Bet's online casino if you are in New Jersey. Simon, I know you want to check that out. From here on out, you'll start to see us use Hard Rock Bet lines when we're talking about the games, and everyone knows Simon and I, we have loved getting out and doing live shows. Now we can actually do them from Hard Rock properties. Simon, do we see a Sharp or Square live show from AC just down the road from you in our future? As we gear up for NFL season, sign up for Hard Rock Bet. Make a $5 bet. You'll get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Head over to Hard Rock Bet. Sign up and make your first deposit today. Super excited about Hard Rock. Got a lot of friends over there. They're a fantastic group and they're crushing it. All right. Pittsburgh at New York Jets. This game was at 3. We were talking about it on Tuesday. Guess what? As you mentioned, Simon, right now at Hard Rock Bet, it's at Jets plus 2.5. The wise guys have come running for that 3. Look, I can't argue with you. I'm leaning that way. It just feels like the move to make. Just a question of what the line is going to be for us on Sunday when we make the picks. But what do you think of it at 2.5?
I still play it. We'll still play the 2.5, but obviously we love it at 3 because that's the safest number. But it's just a matchup of two teams that I think the general public and bookmakers coming to the season viewed them differently, and their win totals reflected that. Where I've talked about it, like them, the Jets, the Patriots, the Pittsburgh, all these teams, to me, they're all the same team. Like they all have strengths and glaring weaknesses, and it's all going to come down to coaching end of it, right? That's why Tomlin's the unicorn of getting his bad teams to 9-8. And like, I get it, their fans are sick of it in Pittsburgh, but you talk to about 80% of football fan bases, they will take that Tomlin existence every time because yes, we all want to win playoff games and Super Bowls, but at the end of the day, you just want a competitive team that wins games and makes the playoffs. Like that's the goal for almost all these teams end of the day. So looking at just this matchup, the 3, I love that number. I did not think it was going to come down. I didn't really think pros would put heavy money into this game because the unknown, it's just so much unknown right now about this Jets team where, I thought confidently professional bettors would take Pittsburgh and they would take it at this exact number 2.5. Like I thought some guys, like, again, as soon as I saw this move, I reached out to people because people don't understand a lot of line movement is fake. It's not fake, but it is where it's like guys will come in on one side, move a number, and then bet really, really heavy on the other side. And that happens more often than you'd believe. This is not one of those circumstances, which I honestly thought it was going to be. It's now been about 24 hours and it's been stuck at 2.5. So, yeah, I think we might be able to get back to 3, Chad, but I do think more professional money will come in on this Jets team to get closer just because so many things line up for this team where they do have a good defense matchup-wise against what this Pittsburgh offense wants to do. And then, say what you want about Pittsburgh, their defense can be mitigated. TJ can be mitigated if you can run the ball and you have a running quarterback. Like there's ways to attack them with that exact style of offense. So, yeah, a game that I think people weren't excited to watch, but someone like me, I really love this game. I love this matchup. It's going to be in the 4 box. Like Justin Fields revenge game, Aaron Rodgers revenge game. Yeah, that's the media talk of this. Me, it's Aaron Glenn versus Tomlin. Like I love these 2 head coaches, and I'm excited to see this type of matchup because I just can't get over how good Aaron Glenn was defensively with that Lions team, and now he's got just as good of weapons here with his Jets team. I'm excited to see what he can do, especially in this matchup. So yeah, Chad, another game where I don't know if we'll get there. Like I don't know how confident I am doing 2.5 in our contest, but people betting wise, 3, you have to grab that 3 if it pops, and you're with us that this is going to be the type of game that's going to be ugly. It's going to be grueling. No one's winning this game by more than 3, Jets or Pittsburgh. So I think 3 is such a key number in this matchup.
Yeah, we're not going to get emotional about these things on Sunday, and we're not going to get lazy, and we're going to remember all of our notes. I'm making all the notes. We're going to remember every conversation. We're not going to let like a late line move or a late injury or a late noise distract us, like late wise guy conversations that are happening in the sports book at 3:30 in the morning on Sunday. We're not getting distracted, Simon. Okay. I'm putting the Jets down, but we're only doing it if it gets to +3. I want to bring these next 2 games together. I want to pair them appropriately because they are both in play for a bet that would require some serious cojones. And we're going to have to make a call based on one of these 2 games. First one up, Tennessee +8 right now at Hard Rock Bet at Denver. I hate this game. I feel like this is a game where wise guys are telling me I have to do it, even though it's ugly and scary. And for years, I would have auto-played this for the Titans. But I do feel like I need at least something I like about the team matchup-wise. I like things about the Browns against the Bengals. I like things about the Raiders against the Patriots. I don't know that I like a rookie QB against a great defense in altitude for his first game. It feels like a recipe for disaster. You keep hammering me about it. It has moved in the direction of the Titans because the line has come down after going high, peaking at 8.5, biggest number of the week. Can we just talk about this for a second as friends, as compatriots, as partners?
Yeah, hopefully the public gets us back to the 8.5. Bet more teasers, people. Keep loading up on Denver. I'm joining you. I told you I'm putting them in my survivor, so I think Denver's winning this game. But to me, the biggest thing that jumps out right away, Chad, if I can give you some trends to ease your mind, because you said you don't know what to do week one, right? There's too much unknown. You got to trust the numbers. Long-term winners, baby. That's what we're giving out here. It might feel gross. It looks gross, but it's how I make a living. Long-term winners. This is a long-term winner. Okay, last 20 years. Let's go last 20 years. Is that enough time for you, Chad? 20 years of data here?
You know what? It's actually, whatever you're going to say, I don't know that it matters because the NFL changes so much.
It doesn't.
It does. Everything from 2017 when they moved the extra point back and people started going for 2-point conversions more. Everything since 2020 when people started getting more aggressive. Like the kickoff rule from last year. The game that we played today, that we watched today, is just different than even the game from 15 years ago. But go ahead.
Not. If you go back,
give me your trend.
All these coaches were going for it on fourth down. They didn't reinvent the wheel lately, Chad. You're overrating how aggressive teams are. Last 20 years, dogs 8 + 8 to +10. 73% the last 20 years. 19-7
in week one.
Spread. 19-7, Chad. So
in week one.
Yeah, in week one. So yes.
How many of those dogs had a rookie number 1 overall quarterback? Because I know those guys have gone, I think, 1-15 against the spread.
This is why I feel bad for you, Chad. You sound like a sucker. I literally won. I had Ryan Fitzpatrick on Tampa +14 against the Saints and Drew Brees. He won outright with Tampa. Okay, so don't give me all this nonsense where you can't see these things happen. It's week one, brother. Shit's about to get weird. That's what you need to lean into here, where it's like, yes, if this was week 9, I agree with you. Once Denver's on a roll and everything's clicking, I agree with you. You are fading a rookie who went 8-0 as a favorite last season. Perfect. And you're betting on a team that went 2-5 against the spread. They are left for dead.
2-15. By the way, I'm going to give you 2-15 against the spread.
Yeah, every bookmaker I talk to, 95% of the money is on Denver and the spread. So, what are we debating here? It's you want to be a long-term winner? You want to bet with the sports books?
You know what?
Hotels?
You know what, Simon? You know what? It's already week 1. I want to put Tennessee in the contest only because you have to own it. You're going to own it. And on Sunday night, we're going to talk about it.
I want to win them the Cowboys. The Cowboys are 8.5. You're betting the Cowboys for the same exact reason. It's a huge inflated number on a heavily overrated, inflated team. It's literally that simple. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. It's data, numbers, trends that back it up. And you said you need matchups for Tennessee. Okay. Denver, this amazing defense, historically, they always regress. In the history, so 25 years of data, teams like them that finish top 3 defensively, every single one the last 25 years has regressed, except Tomlin 1 year with that Steelers defense. They're the only defense ever to improve from being a top 3 defense to a number 2 defense the following year. So Denver's defense, that's going to be the biggest thing right away. They will regress. Cam Ward, he could be dog shit. He could throw a pick. That's not going to be that shocking. He will not be Will Levis, who all he does is go 3 and out or throw picks. Cam Ward will eventually get into a rhythm. He'll be able to move the ball against Denver team. So, yes, Chad, they're the worst team in football. Denver is obviously one of the better teams in football. I get your hesitation. They could blow out Tennessee. That's why we're taking them as survivor. I'm just telling you, this number should be 7. It's 8, 8.5. You got to bet that value. That's an inflated line. You have to take that number.
All right, Simon, then you know what? We're doing it. This year, we're changing it up a little bit. It's not enough to have big balls because even when you have big balls, if you get kicked in the dick like we're going to with this game, you need to have brass balls. So here we go. This week, our brass balls bet of the week. Tennessee Titans +8 against the Denver Broncos, and we're putting this in the freaking contest, brother. And if it wins, all the flowers for Simon.
So there's honestly only one spot left because the next 3 games we're going to talk about, Chad. I basically, people don't know, I'm running the contest finally again this year. I'm making our picks. Chad had the last 2 years. It's back to Simon making the picks.
What he means is like Simon gets to actually put the picks into the
And
contest.
I don't have to hear Chad say why to me on Sundays anymore. Yep. Like, I can't tell you how many times I want to break this guy's neck where I'm like running around. I tell him to put a game and he goes, why? Why? Because the earth spins. I don't know why, Chad. But yes.
Well, listen, I'm inquisitive and I try to set an example for my kids to ask questions, when they don't know the answers. So listen, I don't want to skip San Francisco and Seattle again. So this was also a game that was on our brass balls list. And I apologize again that I missed this. I slid right over it. It's just basically been sitting at the Niners at 2.5. It's a 2 now at Hard Rock Bet. So some money coming in on Seattle. And Simon, I know that you've gotten some intel about the wise guys liking the Seahawks for pretty big money here. I need someone to talk me off of the Niners because I know I'm biased. I know I'm heavily invested in them for the Super Bowl futures. I'm against Sam Darnold. I love Robert Saleh being back and coaching this defense. So go ahead. I know you love the Seahawks here. Tell the people why.
And I'm checking Hard Rock right now because I just got an alert. Yeah, it's back up to 2.5 Seahawks. Oh, great. So obviously there is some 49ers money out there, and me and Chad agree. Like, we like this 49ers this upcoming season long, and I think they're a team that's well positioned that, once Saleh coaches up these young guys on the defensive side, they could be really good. This is a bad spot for them to be trying to get coached up, right? We've seen Kubiak, the offensive coordinator of this Seahawks team, be successful really early in the season last year with that New Orleans team, right? When New Orleans healthy, I mean, they're putting up 40 points a game before their O-line got banged up and Carr got banged up. Like, that offense was moving the ball. I came into the year kind of being a Seahawks hater because of their O-line. I've really turned the page on them the way I've seen them play in preseason and everything I've read from their beat writers, where it's like, they've really done a lot of work between the draft, free agency, and trying to build out this O-line because they knew it was, one of the worst units in all of football last season. You're bringing in Sam Darnold, who needs a good O-line to survive. They bring in Kubiak just because they said, okay, if we don't have the best offensive line, let's be a run team that can, push the ball downfield as well, which is literally what he does. He wants to draw the safeties in and then take it off over top. Like, that's the lazy way to say it, but that's how Kubiak kind of wants to run his offense. And to me, when I break it down, this is a matchup that favors them. Like, I think they'll be able to run the ball really well against this 49ers team. And then on the defensive side, I kind of love this matchup for the Seahawks against Purdy, where Purdy surprisingly has done really well against Seattle. I think he's undefeated playing against them. I think he's 3-0 in Seattle as a starter. But in week 1, Shanahan's actually struggled as a head coach. And I do think it's because the offense is a rhythm-based offense. And I think at the end of the day, I know they just signed Jennings and like that, and they're coming back. So at least they will have 2 pretty solid receivers. Kittle's healthy. McCaffrey's there. This usually would be a smash spot for me with this team. But just the fact that it's on the road against Seattle team that historically, I think they're 30-6 in the first 3 games at home. That's a team that just usually wins, even when they've had bad teams at home in the first couple of weeks, because they're just so dynamic with that offense. And obviously, we're really banking here on Sam Darnold. So 2.5, I'm not honestly comfortable here. I was worried we're going to come on the show and it's going to be 1.5, and that to me would have been a no play. Like, people know, if you listen to the show before, how much I love the number 2 and how much the NFL has changed now where 2.5 is such a key number. So yeah, to me, Chad, I'm still confident about it. A guy I really respect, he doesn't work with any betting groups. He's just a lone bettor that works with bookmakers to try to get his money down. He hit this line for $50K. So he hit the Seahawks for $50K. And that's where I thought the number was going to come down, because this guy does move numbers. It doesn't sound like a big bet, but this guy does have weight behind his betting numbers. So, to me, I already kind of like the Seahawks here, knowing a guy I really respect's coming on the same side as me. And once again, the home divisional dog trends, 24-7 in week 1, that backs up the Seahawks in this exact spot where it's like, I could see the 49ers winning this game somehow at the end, but it just feels like it's a number that's a little inflated. Like 1.5, that was the right number to me. Still at 2.5, that's the good value across the key number on the Seahawks team.
Not a huge margin for error.
No.
in this game. Not a huge one. Like I put it on the list. It's not going to be the brass
Really
balls.
banking heavily on Kubiak and this run blocking scheme working for the Seahawks
that
team.
we're forcing ourselves to believe in things unseen at this point.
A lot of these teams, though, to be fair.
It is like the Tennessee Titans and the brass balls bet of the week that we just made. I actually feel better with the Titans being our brass balls bet than with Seattle. The Chad Loves Love bet was Detroit plus 2.5. And that number is now at Hard Rock Bet down to 2. So, moving in my direction. The wise guys came in and in the hotline, they talked about how much they liked Green Bay more. I get it. Here's my theory is that this line got moved too much by Micah Parsons, who's taken injections in his back and is limited in practice and hasn't done training camp and is barely been with this new team. So why are they getting a full point of value for a guy who we don't even know how many snaps he's going to take if he plays at all? That's to me the reason why I'm playing the Lions here.
Yeah, I'm confident with you in the same respect. It's that like my only pause here would be, the Detroit can come out and rhythm with the scripted plays. I'm not worried about the first 15 to 20 plays, but it's after that's my hesitation, because that's the unknown here with this Detroit team in this offense. Like, how is Goff going to be? He went from McVay in his year to Ben Johnson, which we know now, right? In the future, we know looking back, might be some of the best offensive minds in all of football. We don't know if he's gonna have that same thing. So, like, I get the professionals' hesitation, because LaFleur, Love, they know exactly what they're getting there. Like that, like again, Love, no excuse. People say we're too hard on him. Us being hard on him is the fact that he played 9 good games and got an insane amount of money. And then last year, I don't put it on him as much as other people do, because he got banged up that week 1 game in Brazil, and then the injuries just kept happening randomly to him throughout the season. Maybe that's something that'll plague him all year, but right now his only injury was his non-throwing hand, and it seems like he's been back, fine, practicing on with that, no problem. Their wide receiver room, that's the biggest question about Green Bay to me right now, right? Their golden kid, he might be an absolute stud. He might be their number 1 receiver. What do they have behind him, right? They have so many injuries behind him right now. And, I think Reed had plantar fasciitis or something crazy, dealing with like injuries that he's going to play through it the whole season. But like, that's a major red flag right there. And, a guy I love, Tucker Kraft, is fully healthy. That's a big deal, obviously, at the tight end position. But, overall, I just think Detroit defensively, they have the athletes, they have the talent, maybe arguably the best safety tandem in all of football. Aiden Hutchinson, I know we were joking about it, but his sack total prop was 13.5, 14. Felt too high for me, right? I would take that under. There's no sense that he can't come in here and still be a game wrecker, right? If he comes back and he is at 80%, 85%, it's one of the best passers in all of football. That is a big deal, because Green Bay, their strength to me, when I really break it down, it is that O-line. Like, that O-line with Josh Jacobs, that's a reason that identity of that team was so strong. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this matchup, just because Green Bay 1-5 last year in their division. Like, that was their Achilles heel. Detroit, me and Chad, we're banking honestly on good coaching with Campbell here, and just the fact that he can hold this all together, and that, the OC that's stepping in here, he was the understudy of Ben Johnson all this time. He I think is going to be a guy that could show up and be next year on everyone's radar as the next hot topic on being the next head coach. So I think we're in lockstep here of, it's about the number, right? 2.5 in our contest plus 2. We love it. If this number is at a pick, right? If this moves all the way back to a pick, or Detroit flips to being a favorite, like we've seen these lines flipping now, I don't know if we love it as much, right? Because we're kind of playing the value. We're still on Detroit. We still think they're going to win this game. But at the 2.5, like when Chad gave it out, it did make me feel a little sick to my stomach, because I knew how chalky it was. But it really was about the number. It's like, we're getting a loaded Detroit team as a plus and 2.5 dog against an overhyped Green Bay team, right? They're everyone's darling right now. Everyone's Super Bowl pick. It's just, they're just another team where the love affair has gone too high. And yeah, could they win this one? The pros will be right, that this is a huge deal that Aaron Glenn left and Ben Johnson left, and me and Chad overlooked that. we'll own that on Monday if it's true. But as we sit here right now, I just have a ton of confidence in the structure of that Detroit team. And this is not the type of game I think they'll trip up. And there'll be other matchups they will. But I honestly think they have a big offensive matchup that they can exploit here in the secondary of Green Bay. And defensively, I think people are underrating how good of a defensive stars they have on this Detroit team, fully healthy.
I love when you and I are aligned, and it gives me confidence. It makes me feel better about myself. And also means that we can put it in the contest, and I'm not going to feel as guilty if it loses, the way you will about the Tennessee Titans. Baltimore is visiting Buffalo at Hard Rock Bet. The Ravens are now a 1-point favorite. That's a big move, folks, because when we did the show on Tuesday, they were 1.5-point underdogs, which means the Baltimore Ravens are our rock and a hard place bet of the week, presented by Hard Rock. This one is gratis for our friends at Hard Rock Bet. Listen, we liked the Ravens when it was 1.5 and they were dogs. We don't love betting a line flip. But the more I look at this game, the more I feel like I'm betting a complete team against a team that is Josh Allen and everyone else who needs to be lifted by Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chad. I hate that it flipped, but people say, all we do is bet dogs, Chad. Here we're proving them wrong. We're on the chalk favorite now in the Ravens, and I'm still confident in it. I'm still believing in this play. And, it stinks because there's so many great trends. We talked about it when, Lamar is a dog. He was 12-3 against the spread in his career as an underdog. We love that type of stuff. But another trends I like to look at is whenever he's playing on turf. And I know it sounds simple, but it's a big deal, right? Turf is fast, and that's Lamar's greatest strength, and that's what this offense wants to be. They want to be fast, and that, to me, is something I really dove into. It's like, can I find an edge about Lamar and when he plays on turf fields? And there is a long-term edge on that, right? I've been betting his whole career. I checked my notes. He's 19-3 against the spread when he plays on artificial turf. 19-3 against the spread. So it's like, it sounds stupid, it sounds lazy, it sounds easy, but it's factual when he's a different player when he's playing on turf, because it is a different field and the movement's different. So that was something that jumped out right away. And then, when we dove into the matchups, the Bills team, how they'll exploit this matchup, they will just run the ball. And to me, that could work, but at the same time, that just means it's going to be low scoring, close game. And that's exactly where I want to be with Lamar. Because this is not the playoffs. This is the regular season where Lamar, he is clutch. He is a brutal out. He is a really tough beat. And I think, the line movement, we have both the same feeling. Me and Chad, honestly, it sounds stupid, people, but we've just been burned so many times when the line flips. It just, for some reason, just burns us. But I'm going to touch the stove again. I think you're going to touch it with me, where it's like, I know it's hot. I got to touch it, though. I just love this Ravens at this number. Anything below 2. So at 1.5, I'm still going to bet it. So, yeah, it's people out there. You can shop around. There's still some plus 1.5s out there. Tease it. You have to at least tease it. Lamar, as a dog in teasers, 14-1 as a teaser. So getting him up to 7.5, there is no way he loses this game by more than a touchdown. Harbaugh, week 1 against the spread, 12-5 against the spread. So, he's just a guy that gets his guys ready, prepared for week 1. And, me and Chad both had the Chiefs last year. We won that bet by a heel, right? That was a really lucky bet, and the Ravens lost. I can't see the lightning strike twice here. I mean, they're just so fired up about facing this Bills team who they lost in the playoffs last year. And we talked about it. I know the Bills, it's the last night, Orchard Park, last opening game ever at that historical ballpark, right? What is it, 1973? That fucking stadium opened. So I get it's going to be a historical, over-emotional night. If you just want to take Ravens first half, we love Lamar as a first half bet. Go for it. But for us, and contest-wise, that's what we're talking here. Taking them in the contest, taking them as a straight-up bet. I just love the Ravens, and I'm almost positive it's locked in a plus 1.5 in our contest. So I'm almost positive on Sunday morning that'll be one of our bets.
Well, look, let's break it down right now. I think on Sunday morning, 4 games that we feel great about after this conversation: Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, 50% of us feel great about Tennessee, and 50% of us are going to go along just for the drama. And then we're probably going to be deciding between what are the best lines, how things have moved, either between a Las Vegas or a Jets or maybe a Commanders, maybe a Seattle. We'll see how things are going. Or there might be other games that have moved and injuries have caused us to rethink things. But I think that's where we stand right now. Again, we will lock all this down Sunday morning, 11 a.m., Sharper Square YouTube channel. Simon, right now, as we do this show, biggest bet of the week so far.
Whew. Because I told you I've been betting this for months and months.
Browns.
I would have to definitely go through my book. I'm assuming once I go through and count all my tickets, unfortunately, it's probably going to be Dallas. I know I was hitting that number for months. But I'm assuming come Sunday, I'm going to go through it now. I know I'm getting close with the Ravens and I'm getting really close with the Browns. Browns were 6.5 at one point. That's a number I've just been hammering for months. Hammered at 6, kept hitting at 5.5. I'm still betting at 5. So that's going to be a gross day when I wake up, and my two biggest bets are going to be Browns and Dallas. But yeah, I do want to say with this, like Chad said, these early weeks, guys, don't go crazy with your bankroll, right? Pick your spots, be smart, very long season. Money management is literally 50% of the battle. You don't become a professional without a really strict money management. So I'm highly aggressive. I've won big. I got the equity to burn this way. If you got a small bankroll, you have the power. Pick your spots. Don't force bets. I say it all the time on the show. Me and Chad have to pick 5 for contest. Most weeks, I do 3 big bets or less, right? I'm picking my spots where I might do a total of spread props, but I'm picking my spots. I'm not forcing in 5 against the spread bets. The NFL is the sharpest market. You want to go make a living, go bet college football. There's about 300 freaking football teams. This is a lot different. 32 teams, really stiff market. So please, people, money management, be smart with your money. Let's go.
Dude, I'll tell you 2 stories. So I'm working on this book and I'm spending time with a lot of professional bettors, including a guy I was with last weekend in Costa Rica. He's a big college football bettor, a big baseball bettor. And when I say big, I mean from a baseball point of view, I think there might be 5 groups that are competitive with him. And I think for the year, he's maybe made 100 bets on baseball. Now, the volume he's betting when he actually makes his bet is huge. He is so selective and disciplined. And I sat with him on College Football Saturday all day. So selective. It is point difference. He'll just walk away. Does not get sort of lost in the midst the way Simon is talking about. Bankroll management. The best way to make money, don't lose money. Simon, what is our money line, round robin, underdog, parlay? Here's what I think. Saints, Panthers, Lions, Raiders, Cleveland. Agree or disagree?
I'll switch out the Raiders for the Jets.
All right. Saints, Panthers, Jets, Lions, Cleveland. All right. Survivor, I think you said it a couple times. We're going with Denver.
Got it.
And then Sharp versus Square. I'm going with Miami.
You're going Miami?
Yeah.
Can't use Browns against shit. I guess, man. I already have so much invested in the Titans. I mean, should I triple down on them? No.
Yeah. You know what? Have some brass balls. Go with the Titans.
No, I'm going Ravens. I love the Ravens. And it's still a good number. There's still plus 1.5s out there, but I'll take the Hard Rock. I'll take the -1 on this show.
All right. So I'm doing Miami. I think I got 1.5 or 1. What's Hard Rock say right now about Miami?
I'm almost positive they moved to let me pull it up. They moved to +1. Yep,
All
plus
right.
one.
+1, your Ravens -1. All right, folks. This has been Sharper Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back on Sharper Square YouTube on Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, as you eavesdrop on a very intimate conversation between me and Simon, in which we will panic, make utterly human decisions, and regret the rest of the day. Then we will be back on Sharper Square YouTube Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, to recap all that misery. Again, all these are available on the audio feeds as well, Sharper Square, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, download us from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Don't forget the listener contest. Give us 5 stars. Give us some comments. We're going to read the best comments on the show. You're going to get some swag. Feedback is a gift. It helps make the show easier to find for everyone. Help you fellow listeners out a little bit. Until next time, love you.